find to be very powerful. One of the poems is Empty House. In that poem, there's a very young nun. She's just made final vows, and she's really realizing that in the time that she's been there, when she first entered 20 years earlier, there were a lot of nuns. The house was full. There were many nuns coming in each year. 20 years later, many of the sisters who had come in at the time that she did had left. Sisters who had come in even 5 years previously had left, and people who had come in that September had left. And she said, she looked around and she thought, now there's only a remnant. There's older nuns and a few younger ones, but not many. And what can you build and where can you go when the house is empty? And I found that symbol, or that image of the empty house, to be very powerful, because we've all driven by empty houses. And they all have that abandoned, sad look to them. And I always think, well, somebody lived there, a family lived there, and here you have convents where whole, maybe 400 or 500 nuns lived. And now those huge, huge convents have been sold, and the remnant, the old sisters, are living in really often quite nice accommodations, but it is an old age place. So that symbol is powerful to me. Another poem that I really, really like is Parish Social, where Giselle, that's the name I give her, goes to a parish social, and she's only been out of the convent for a year. So she's still dealing with that whole feeling of almost nakedness, really. You don't have your habit on anymore, and you don't have these linens covering your face. And she starts dancing with a young soldier who is on leave. And she's thinking about the convent experience, and then she's thinking about his closeness, because in the poem I say he moves, in the poem, the song is All You Need Is Love, the Beatles song, and he moves too close for chastity. And as she thinks back to the convent and the scratchy linens and the long habit, and she thinks, and now here he is, his mouth on mine, tongue inside. Now that's powerful intimacy, and all of that happens in the space of one dance. He having no idea of where she's come from. So I just think that that poem says a whole lot about those missing steps of the dance of sexuality. Kids that went in when they were 13, or Mary Shaver said she went in when she was 16, have missed all of those steps of that male-female dance, and they don't know how it goes. And almost anything surprises them. So for someone who had just been in a convent to be touched that intimately, even to dance with somebody, never mind to be kissed by someone, they would have experienced it far differently than someone who had gone to dances on a regular basis, or had had dates, and was used to a few kisses.